Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back to another episode of Shy Bulls Podcast. It's game day, ladies and gentlemen. The Chicago Bulls take on the Toronto Raptors in their play-in matchup. So the question of the day is, will it be the last time we see the Chicago Bulls? Y'all know we got to hear the music first.
Cognac. Gang.
Shy Bulls Podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, holding it down on another episode for me and my co-host C-Dub. If you like what you're listening to today, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. So the question of the day is, will this be the end of the Chicago Bulls season tonight? How does it end? Shout out to the How Does It End. But anyway, man, look, we know it's the 9th versus the 10th seed. The winner goes on to play Miami for the final playoff spot. The Chicago Bulls versus the Toronto Raptors this season, they played 3 games. The Chicago Bulls only have won 1. And in most of those games, it was me personally, I like to account most of those losses to the lack of size and the lack of execution that happened between those games. I know, like in, the most recent game in February, it was just not a good performance from the Chicago Bulls, man. You had DeMar DeRozan give you 13 points, Zach LaVine give you 17. Vooch led the way with 23, and there was pretty much no other contributions. I mean, you got some here and there, but 8 from Pat Bev, 6 from Alex Caruso, 7 from Kobe White, and 10 from Ayo Dosunmu is just not going to be good enough if the Chicago Bulls want to pull off a victory today. So, you know what I'm saying? It's definitely going to be a challenge. It's definitely going to, come up and be just a difficult situation for the Chicago Bulls tonight, simply because it appears that Billy Donovan is still going to roll with the small ball lineup that he's been running with for, for majority of the season. You know what I'm saying? Especially down the stretch after All-Star break. So some of the challenges that's going to be present for the Chicago Bulls is definitely, number one, is going to be the size and the length of the Toronto Raptors. The shortest person on the team is going to be Fred VanVleet. Pat Bev can and will match up against him pretty good because they're about the same damn height. But when it comes to everybody else, it's a little bit shaky, you know what I'm saying? But this right here is going to tell me who wants it more, because they're not a good three-point shooting team. We're not a good three-point shooting team. But one advantage that they have over us is the size and the length. We have the best player on the court in Zach LaVine, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, we still know that another challenge for the Chicago Bulls is Nick Nurse. Nick Nurse coaches circles around Billy Donovan. And that's just the facts. He comes out with the simplest stuff. And on every game, it's pretty much, in my mind, it's the same thing. Like he does it in different ways. But the craftiness of Nick Nurse is something that has affected the Chicago Bulls tremendously, especially on the defensive end when the Bulls are trying to score. You know what I'm saying? Like, how does a guy like DeMar DeRozan get neutralized to the point to where he's averaging 14 points against the Toronto Raptors? That comes from great game planning and great execution amongst the Toronto Raptors. And I can imagine that is going to be something that the Toronto Raptors don't want to happen in another game. They don't want DeMar DeRozan to get it going from that mid-range spot to where he's drawing fouls. You got Unk screaming, another goofy. You don't want none of that. Nick Nurse don't want none of that. So they're going to try to neutralize him. They're going to try to honestly neutralize Zach LaVine. And it's going to have to come down to who wants it more and what players step up in the absence of DeMar DeRozan or Zach LaVine. But in my mind, Zach LaVine has to say screw that and go ahead and handle business. He has a quick first step. He can pretty much get to the basket whenever he wants. But the problem is how does Billy Donovan scheme up some actions that will get these guys open? I know Billy Donovan typically likes to run a double pin down to have the guy come up towards the top of the key and get some leeway there, or where they coming up to the, top of the circle and then able to, get a line drive to the basket. But if anybody watches tape, they know that's going to happen. So you bought the Billy Donovan. What did you do with your days off to help this team in a better light? Now, in 3 games against the Toronto Raptors, the Chicago Bulls averaged 19 turnovers. It's not a fluke, y'all. 19 turnovers in 3 games versus the Toronto Raptors this season. So one you will already know, take care of the basketball. The Chicago Bulls have to take care of the basketball, and that's what it really is. But you can't get it has to come down to making smart plays and execution. For real. DeMar DeRozan, we already said it. The man has 14 points average against the Toronto Raptors. So he is not getting his, season average against the Toronto Raptors. I want to see how the Chicago Bulls can be able to scheme up something for DeMar DeRozan to where this team can go ahead and execute and put points in the basket. Billy Donovan, he going small again, as we just talked about. But at the end of the day, there's still the questions. Billy, can you adjust? Can you adjust for once in your life? You had days, you had some time to game plan. Can you do that? Can you adjust? And my question is that I really want to know is, you're going to come out here with a 5-man lineup with 2 small guys against all these guys that's big. I get it. You got one guy in Patrick Beverly. He matches up with Fred VanVleet when it comes to height. My concern is the Alex Caruso spot. Because if the Bulls begin to switch on that, and Alex Caruso is outmatched by his, whoever he's defending, that's going to be an issue. That's going to be an issue. So I want to see how do the Chicago Bulls, specifically Billy Donovan, how quick will you adjust to get Kobe White in the game? How quickly will you adjust to get Patrick Williams in the game? How quickly will you adjust to get Andre Drummond in the game? Matter of fact, how would the minutes look for Andre Drummond, because you need the size? How much of DJJ will we see? You know what I'm saying? Because you need the length. If these guys are not producing, how quick will you pull them? How quick will you make the adjustments? Can Ayo Dosunmu see some time? In the last game, I just mentioned it, he gave you 10 points off the bench, which is pretty damn good. We know he's a taller defender. Do you get him in there if Pat Bev gets in a little bit of foul trouble to go ahead and try to neutralize Fred VanVleet? That's another thing. So it's a lot of things that we could consider. It's a lot of things that we throwing out there. And if you was on the open mic yesterday, the Cognac Boy Invasion, it was so many things that had to go right for us to win. It's just so difficult to gauge what the hell this team will look like tonight at 7 Eastern when we tip off against the Toronto Raptors in the game, to where the winner goes on to play the Miami Heat. And honestly, the Miami Heat look like they are very vulnerable right now. Yes, they fought hard yesterday, but they are very, very vulnerable in that paint. But that's another topic for another day. We got to focus on right now. So when it comes down to the most important players of tonight's game, I got 4 players. I know some people probably try to narrow it down to 1, but I'm going to start off with the main man, Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine, you got to show up. The reason you have to show up is because you are healthy now. Last year, you went into the playoffs injured, and you did not perform well. Show me how bad you want to make it to the playoffs, Zach LaVine. Show us. You got to show up. Then the next one, this guy is an X factor, Kobe White. Kobe White has been playing spectacular basketball. We need his 3-point shooting today. We need his defense today. We need him to get out and run on today. We need him to make some plays. And then Patrick Williams. I believe Patrick Williams should be in the starting lineup, but it's not going to happen. But Patrick Williams, in your minutes, I believe you need to come out here and be dominant on a defensive end and at least try to contribute, maybe 8 to 10 points, 8 to 12 points off the bench. And Andre Drummond, he's going to be huge for second chance points. And Billy Donovan, once it gets out of control, if you see too many second chance opportunities go at once, you need to be quick to pull the trigger to make sure you have a guy in there to help with rebounding. You cannot come out here. I know it's going to happen. DJJ is going to be playing center at one point of this game. Book it. But once that happens and the rebounds start to happen too often, you need to pull them and reinsert Andre Drummond or Nikola Vucevic. Now ain't the time to be playing and dealing with your bullshit, Billy Donovan. You need to coach the game and earn your bucks, because for some reason they gave you and your coaching staff extensions. It ain't my money, but damn, it's a little fishy down there, because Mo Cheeks been Cheeks for a decade. Bro. But beyond the point, be ready to go. And I say all that to say this, ladies and gentlemen. I do not have the Chicago Bulls winning tonight. That's just me. I don't know if that's me just trying to be logical, but I just don't trust Billy Donovan, man. I don't trust Billy Donovan to help this team in ways that it needs to be helped. I hope I'm wrong. I know Unc, he made his predictions. He said the Chicago Bulls go on to win tonight. Will the Chicago Bulls be the first 10th seed? I don't know. It's so hard to gauge it. Maybe I'm picking Toronto so I could just gauge myself to not be ticked off. I don't know. But I do know that Nick Nurse outcoaches Billy Donovan, and that's what it comes down to for me. It comes down to coaching. I believe the teams are evenly matched, but I think it's going to come down to the coaching. And unfortunately, I say the Chicago Bulls season ends tonight. I hope not. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. But that's what it is, man. We take them on 7 Eastern, 6 p.m. Central Time. It's going down. We will be live calling here on the channel. So make sure y'all, once that notification drop, y'all make sure y'all click that thing so y'all could be notified. Let's have a little convo in the comments. Go ahead and let me know how y'all feeling about it all. Do you want to see the Bulls win? Do you think the Bulls win? Do you think they got to lose? And what should happen if they do lose? While you at it, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and you already know. We're going to catch y'all on the next one.
Cognac. Gang.